November 2006. Why did you do it, Jack? I only went up to see her, to try and help with her headaches, as you asked. Owen Harper, Torchwood 3's medic, had had a terrible journey back. The SUV had been programmed to lock the doors and self-drive back to base, only letting Owen out when Jack had come out. Owen banging on the windows and then resorting to sounding the horn continuously. Mallory. He hadn't seen her. He wished he had. And now I am asking you to stop. Jack turned and instinctively blocked his way towards the medical bay. Below, a face looked back up to them, having been investigating Owen's belongings. You are making the neuroblocker, Dr. Martha Jones told them, holding up the syringe. Owen tried to struggle past, but Jack put himself in the way. Behind him, Ianto lingered, unsure, it seemed, whether to intervene or not. Owen ignored him and focused his anger at this interloper. Who the bloody hell are you? Owen demanded. His day had been dreadful. The SUV was out of control. If he wasn't so annoyed, he might have given in to the feeling of terror that was lingering at the back of his mind. 2.5 hours and all contact disabled had felt like much longer. And yes, if you must know, last time I visited, Mallory's headaches were getting much worse for her. Mallory had not even cried out the last time Owen was there, but the pain on her face had been heartbreaking. He tried to dodge past Jack, but Captain Harkness had guessed what was coming, and he swung his arm in front of the doctor's face. She hid T4. I was frantic. Jack cried, holding back a struggling Owen, who stopped struggling at their leader's words. Archie McLeish did that. Jack, I swear I had no involvement. I know you have visited more times than it takes to treat her, Jack accused. Every Tuesday, every Friday, Tosh confirmed from Sophie's readouts. Owen took a step back, glowering at his colleagues, and especially at Jack. Sometimes, over the weekend, Owen growled back. You have to stop. Owen raised his eyebrows, and then took a step back. In front of them, even a stranger, all the words came tumbling out of his mouth, and he looked away. I can't. I won't. Mallory likes my company. I like hers more than like, so she tells me. Jack bore down on Owen, hoping that he was wrong, though knowing he wasn't. Who, Jack? Asked Ianto. Owen scowled at the man. Innocent comment? Or wind-up merchant? It made no difference. He looked away, noticing that Martha Jones had not moved since she had seen him. Mallory. Jack turned to Ianto, and took a step back, folding his arms, and recounting. Owen has been undertaking off-grid visits. He turned back to Owen, with an accusing look. She told me what you do with her, and it's not okay. Owen felt his eyes widening in surprise. She told you? I asked. Jack began to pace around the back of Ianto, resisting the urge to smack his ass. Mallory is straightforward like that, and that was when Owen shouldered his bag. He would walk back to the bloody Midlands, if it was the last thing he did. Glancing at the medical bay, his medical bay, Owen figured he needed to take the neuroblocker with him. Jack stood in his way. I'm going, Jack, he said to the captain. Even if I have to leave here forever. You're a womanizer and I can't have her upset, Jack told him, his voice staccatoed, commanding, accusing. But it wasn't like he was making out, Owen thought. He and Mallory. I love her. Yeah? You tell yourself that when you screw her? A gasp came from the datacom console. Tosh then ducked down behind it, keys tapping quickly. Don't. Owen swung round. He was a damn better fighter than Jack, he figured. Dirtier, too. But he was going. Even if, now, Jack had pulled out his Webley revolver. Jack Harkness cocked the trigger, but got no further than that. He wheeled round and watched Owen take the long way back to the hubs in a door. She's not Megan, Owen, Jack declared. She's not Katie, or Gwen. And when Owen ignored his jibes, the captain added, she's not ... Diane. Don't. Owen shot a look back at his boss. But then, his demeanor appeared to soften and, pulling his grey, drill cotton messenger bag onto his shoulder, Owen trod purposefully towards his boss, then leaned towards Jack's ear. What he whispered made Jack fall back, a look of horror crossing his face. No, Jack declared, his turn to be wide-eyed. Owen stared back at him, a look of triumph on his face. "No, Owen. Tell me it isn't true." Owen Harper gave his boss a grin. "It's true," he told Jack, and then made to the door. The cog, seeming to know that it was need to open the door in a hurry, clicked and began to turn clockwise. "You've done what?" Ianto asked, next to Jack. Both men ignored him, but Ianto reckoned he could figure it out. He watched Jack cross to a table near where Tosh was furiously trying to pretend she wasn't there, and pulled out a small case. "Well, you'd better damn well get up there, once you've finished here," Jack told him, hotly, thrusting a bag at Owen. "I take it Mallory has given you access." "She's given me access all right," Owen retorted, the old arrogant Owen coming to the fore. As he heard his own words, he hated himself for it, and half expected Jack to take a swing at him. It wasn't like that. Him and Mallory, they just seemed to get one another. "Make it right," Jack insisted, pushing the bag into Owen's hands. "Sort it out, then get back." Owen looked down at the bag. It was a small, medical bag with 2 or 3 objects inside. "Sort what out?" Jack passed him a second bag. The handle of the forceps was visible. "Perhaps you could call Archie McLeish, see what he has to say about it." Hsqw. Owen's eyes narrow. Archie had not been back to Torchwood for some months. Now Jack knew why. Either that, now it was Jack's turn to be cruel, or he could come down with a bottle of scotch for her. That and a hot bath should do it. "No, Jack, I will not." Owen threw the items back to his former boss. Jack hoved in on Torchwood 3's doctor. "You will or I will," he told him, and Owen, sensing enough determination in Jack's voice to take him seriously, took it up. "Then get back. You are needed here. Martha needs you. We are going to investigate a big pharma company, and how they can supply such a range of products so quickly, and why some of their clients have begun to grow fifth limbs," Ianto put in, hoping to lighten the mood. But Jack didn't turn to him, didn't reward him with a smile or a wink. Instead, his attention was completely with Owen. "And when we get back from the farm, Owen Harper, we are going to talk about how you have finished your work with Mallory Collier for good." 88,888,888 August 2018. "We're going to need help," Gwen told Jack, as they strolled down the Roald Dahl Place. "Reese can't help, he's never been Torchwood, and I've got the business." He glanced at David, who was flanking Jack's leg. Now she knew, Gwen could not help but see his resemblance to Ianto. How time had passed, leaving the next generation in its wake. "There's only me," she added. But it was more a question. And when Jack didn't answer it, she added, "Seriously, no team, Jack?" Captain Jack shook his head. "I need to get beyond the rift. Keep the twins apart until the right moment," he told her. Gwen stopped walking for a moment, aghast. "Jack, you're not going to kill them?" "I really hope not," he told her, his voice low. "There's more than one person who can make sure the rift does not become unstable. And she's not here, she's in a little village in a remote part of the West Midlands." Mallory, Gwen thought, grimly. He could only mean her. But, hadn't she remained behind, lost in the rift when Jack had midwifed her? Muscle memory in her brain caused Gwen to reach down to her mobile phone. Jack Harkness liked to work alone. That he had come to Gwen, placed Roddy with them, meant he had no other viable options. She flicked on the device and pressed 3 buttons. Once she had spoken into it, she disconnected the call and dialed through to her husband. "Reese, can you meet me outside the Norwegian church?" Gwen asked. No fluffy greeting, nothing. Jack liked that about Gwen Cooper. What a waste to be stuck as an estate agent. "That's across the bay, that is," Reese told her. Gwen patiently agreed. "I've called my mam, she'll take Handwin." "Just do it, will you? Bring Roddy to me." "Is this to do with him?" Reese sounded defensive. He always was when it came to Captain Jack Harkness, and Gwen could hear the disappointment in his voice. "It is to do with knowing exactly when Roddy will be leaving us," she told him. "We are doing it for the country." "Look, you'll see when you get here." She clicked off her mobile, and looked out across the bay, to Penrith, where their home was, and inhaled deeply. "You're wrong," Jack told Gwen, after a time. "We are not doing it for the country, nor for the world." He smiled his Jack smile, and Gwen could not help smiling back. No, he concluded. We are doing it for them, Ianto Jones, Jack reeled off, for Toshiko Sato. Owen Harper. It's for all of my team, including you, Gwen Cooper. It is for Roderick Collier, for all the people who have ever worked for Torchwood, for all those who have had their lives affected by us. It is for Martha Jones and the Doctor. Is for me and you and Reese and Anwin. For Roddy and for David. It is for the Doctor. Who? Jack turned to her, then nodded. Yes,